Hello everybody, this is Stunt here, and we're going to go over a little bit of a tutorial on Bash, Linux, and running a Minecraft server on a Linux backend. And we're going to do something that I haven't seen a lot of people do yet, at least, is go through the beginning processes from the very beginning all the way to the very end of a installation of Multicraft. That's including MySQL and all that fun little junk here and there. One of the first things that we have to do though is we have to go through and make sure the system is all set up and it's secure. I'm running Debian right now on my system. You can choose whichever one you want to go ahead and use. There's Ubuntu, there's Red Hat, there's all sorts of different types of Linux distributions out there. Debian's one of my favorites. Besides that, really there's not a whole lot of difference between each one. Some of them are more up to date, more than others. Some of them have better security features. Some of them have more updated programs. It just really depends, and you really got to do your research. My favorite has always been Debian, and so that's what I use. I have a fully configured server here. I have it done from DigitalOcean. It's just a small little 1 gig RAM server with 30 gigs of SSD disk space. It's hosted in San Francisco, running Debian 7.0. So that's what I've got running on my system. You can get anything bigger than that, doesn't really matter, but for our purposes, this is just fine. First thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and change the listening address for SSH. This is going to try to secure our backend a little bit more by setting some functions in the SSHD config. So every Linux distribution will have this. We're going to use Nano as our text editor. There's a couple different types of text editors out there. Nano is one of my favorites. It's just going to be on your opinion on what you want to use. But we're going to go ahead and go into the SD config here. And the first thing that we do want to go ahead and change is we want to go ahead and uncomment this line right here. And we're going to put in our IP address. Now for security, I'm not going to show you this IP address, of course, but I'll probably replace it with something silly like 55555. Alright, once we got that typed in there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to scroll down again, and we're going to go into stopping at a couple of different places. First place that we're going to go ahead and stop is we're going to do permit root login. This depends on your personal preferences. If you want to have something rather than root, then you would change this. So that way people won't be able to log into root. Again, it depends on how security conscious you are. We're going to go ahead and leave that yes for now. We're also going to go ahead and change this really quick too. This is just saying that there's also an authorized keys file in a user's directory. So say you go out and you create another user for somebody to be able to log into your server, well, you can also put their SSH key into there. And they can log in through that user account through that SSH key. So that's always useful to have. I always uncomment that line for just in cases. We need to make sure that permit empty passwords is on no. We don't want passwords. That's the one thing about what we're going to change on this line right here is a password authentication. We're just going to uncomment that and just say no. We don't want password authentication. We don't want somebody to be able to log into our systems, type in a password, and log in. We want the most secure system possible, which would be SSH. But beyond this, I'm not going to go too much further. We're going to change one more little thing, but it's not pertaining to security per se. We're just going to make sure that this X11 forwarding is no. There's not a whole lot of reasons for this. It's my personal preferences. I've had some headaches with it before. So usually I just say no. It's easier that way. We're just going to press Control X like I did right there, and it'll prompt us whether to save it or not. We're going to say yes, and then we're going to press Enter to save it with the same name, and then there we go. Now this is something more for, I suppose, fun more than anything else, is we're going to make a little tiny banner for when somebody logs into SSH. It's just something fun and just something a little bit goofy and interesting. So I believe it's going to be in etc. It's going to be in issue.net, and we're going to do banner. as a blank document. So we're going to welcome to the Misfit tutorial Multicraft server backend. That is not a directory. Okay. So I need issue.net like that. There we go. That's the correct place. Okay, so we're going to change this to just maybe the Misfit backend for the tutorial videos. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and I forgot a couple things. Okay. So let's go back into the SSHD config here. Usually I automate this process. I'm not usually going through it and doing it manually. So I'm probably going to be bouncing a little bit back and forth. Oh, where is that sucker? Oh, this is where we need to uncomment that line to enable a banner. And I must have missed something. Alright, so the nice thing about Nano is we can search for something. So we're going to do this, and we're going to search for allow TCP forwarding. And it is not in here. Huh. I've stumped myself. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and put this at the bottom then. It's something that's usually in the SSHD config. This might be a different version than what I'm used to. So we're just going to say allow TCP forwarding. No. And then, let's see here, I believe that is it. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to go ahead and restart SSH. And to restart it is we're just going to type this in, and then we're going to say restart. Now it's restarted. And we could go ahead and duplicate this screen, and it would go ahead and pop up, and we could see the banner and all that, but we're going to go ahead and go forward a little bit. But that's basically the SSH portion of this. It's pretty easy to do, not a lot involved, but we're just trying to lock things down a little bit, and that's mostly what we're doing with SSH. An SSH key is just a much more secure than using password authentication, because if you use the same password for everything, somebody's eventually going to guess it, or they're going to find out, and they're going to get into the backends of your systems, and they're going to mess a lot of things up. Next portion we're probably going to go over is installing Apache and MySQL, or we're going to start going through and installing Java. Minecraft needs Java to be able to run because it's a Java program. So we have to install Java on the system. I usually automate this process because it's so much of a pain in the butt. I'm going to try and do it manually. It's going to be a pain in the butt, and I may have to just go through and use a script to do it. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video of how to lock down your SSH configs and how to just enable SSH login for a Multicraft backend, and this is just basically the first step.